Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have Aiden here. Aiden from Texas. How you doing, hun?
I'm good. How are you? It's so nice to see your beautiful face and all your color coordination. I love it.
I am. I have a purpley pink theme going on right now.
I love it. I have a black and white theme, black and really white. Yeah.
I see that. Where you're in your dorm room, right?
No, I'm actually at home for winter break.
Oh, you're at home. So without putting out a whole bunch of information, what town does your parents live in?
I live in like the Plano area of Texas.
Okay.
So yeah. And
What's
it's about 30 minutes from Dallas.
Oh, okay. South, north?
Um, I don't know the directions. I'm bad at directions. But like
Colorado's north, and the Gulf of Mexico is south.
yes. I think it's actually like I think it's north, like north, a little northeast.
The Northeast. Okay, cool. I know here in Colorado, we have the mountains and they're always west. So we really know our north and south, east, west. Because if you ever get lost, look for the mountains if you're on this side. And if you're on the other side, of course, they're going to be east. So you just got
Yeah.
to know what side of the mountain you're on,
Yeah.
which slope of the
Yeah.
mountain you're on. And we always
In
have that.
Texas,
So
we navigate through like the stench of Abbott. Like, oh, I can smell him. We need to go the opposite direction. So that's how we navigate in Texas.
Abbott is horrible, horrible, horrible. Speaking of Abbott, how was the winter? What happened in the weather there?
Well, now reporting from Dallas, Texas. Let me get my microphone. We have had a pretty chilly winter for Texas, honestly. You know, in our prediction video for the next 5 years, we said that this would be one of the worst winters in a while in Texas and across the United States. Like, I looked at the map the other day and sorry, this is funny. I looked at like the whole United States and it was covered in blue and purple. And, normally that gets kind of scary because in Texas, we normally don't get all this freezing cold weather.
It's true.
And I think it's going to get worse even in January. So we still need to be bundled up. I think it's going to take a lot out of us. I think it's going to be like one of the worst winter seasons we've had in Texas in the past few years. I remember a few years ago, it was so bad that my pool froze over and
Mm.
I was able to walk on top of it. So hopefully it doesn't get that bad. But I think that, we need to be prepared for anything. That means stocking up on water, stocking up on, fire
Absolutely.
supplies to make fire if we need to.
Well, how was the electrical grid? I mean, since you're at ground zero, what did you hear? You probably didn't because you're closer to the big cities, but what did you hear about the grid going out?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk in Texas about Abbott and his failing grid. You know, I'm fortunate enough that I do live next to a big city, so uh, there are like hospitals and schools that need to have electricity. So at my college, we actually lost electricity for a whole day on Halloween, actually. And I thought it was like a whole prank. I thought someone was pranking us. But I was in my dorm, watching YouTube, and the electricity went out. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this a prank? Am I gonna get like horror movie right now? Like I really thought something bad was happening. And then I checked on social media and it was like blah blah blah, college electricity has gone out all across the college. And I was like, oh, okay then. And then I checked on Twitter and it was like, oh, electricity for this whole area of Dallas went out. So definitely there are a lot of things going on. And right now, there are a lot of homes across Texas that are without electricity. And, its cause is the person that's in charge of this. Let's say his name together, guys. Ready? Greg
Greg
Abbott.
Abbott. Well, speaking of Greg Abbott again, go and get your cards out because I want to see if he's going to be held accountable. Because Mr. Greg Abbott thinks it's funny to bus legal immigrants that are coming into this thing because busing illegal immigrants is a felony. So he's busing legal immigrants. And of course, on Christmas Eve, he bussed a few to Kamala Harris's front door in 18-degree weather. These people didn't have much. Some were in shorts. They were prepared for Texas weather. They were not prepared for Washington, D.C. weather. And they had children with them. And that, I hope he gets held accountable. I hope that at some point in time, that man is going to catch his own. He's going to have his, what we call it, the comeuppance.
Yep.
So let's read and see if he is going to be held accountable for that type of behavior. If there's anything that they're going to do to him. So let's see what's going on. Mr.
Honestly,
Gregory
it was
Abbott.
a very Scrooge move. Like, Ebenezer Scrooge always, upset and angry around the holidays. Well, Greg Abbott, he's like that year round. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if there's any redemption for him. I don't think in like 10 years we're gonna be like, Greg Abbott has changed, because I think he's gonna be the same man he's always been, just a despicable man.
I know,
So yeah,
but you
let's
see, this is the thing. Texas, apparently the majority of voters who voted like him. That's the problem I have with Texas. You guys are, I was like, what is going on? Why does that happen? However, I mean, he's spending money there versus fixing the grid or spending money to help the schools or the children there. I mean, they have this, well, we're spending so much money over in Ukraine, but Greg Abbott's wasting money. Right in front of you, he's wasting money, but I don't hear nobody complaining about that, you know?
yeah,
So let's see what's going on. Let's see what is going to happen.
let's do that.
I could just go on and on about that demon. I don't like him.
I know, just a whole rant.
Let's see what the cards have to say and see if he is going to be held accountable or if he's going to get away with it.
Let's do it.
I know it's been a while since you read political.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on and agreeing to read political.
of course. You're incredible. I would call you like my spiritual YouTube aunt. So
Oh,
I will always come on.
well, there you go. Thank you.
No one ever reaches out to me for collabs anymore. So I was like, oh, of
I think
course
it
they'll come
just
on.
I think it just slowed down because of the holidays, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um wow, what
I
did you
mute myself while I keep on shuffling.
the heck was that? Hmm. What did you get? Because mine's pretty interesting.
Well, I'm a slow shuffler, so let's see. Oh, I'm not getting good cards for Abbott.
Me neither.
So the first thing that I got was the Two of Swords, all about what's the right thing, what's the wrong thing. And I don't think that Abbott has the understanding of how his life or how his choices are affecting others. He's in this position of power, and really it feels like to me he has no empathy for anybody other than himself. And I feel like it's like this big old boys club where they're just like, yeah, let's make life difficult for all the less unfortunate. He's really in a place of privilege, and he's not using that for the embetterment of the whole of Texas. Like, honestly, I don't know anything about politics, but I feel like I would do a way better job than Abbott. Like, I think anybody can.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, almost
Anybody with a
anybody.
heart.
Yeah, yeah. And what's so interesting, the migrants showed up in this card, the
Mm.
Five of Pentacles. So I really do think that either there are people on his team telling him, just like how people on Trump's team was telling him not to do certain things or not to say certain things. There are people on Abbott's team telling him, are you sure? Is this a good idea? I don't know about this. This might cause some major backlash. And, I really think that whoever was on his team telling him this really postponed. I feel like he wanted to do this before the election. I think he like was like, oh, okay, I'll finally listen to somebody, and he pushed it back after election so it wouldn't impact his votes. But
Reelection.
I really do think that there's going to be some repercussions here. I yeah, I think that he's going to face some backlash. Seven of Wands having to defend his ground, having to defend why he did it. Like, why did you do that, Mr. Abbott? And I really do think that I feel this. I feel like this. There's going to be like this whole exorcism of government officials that are just trash, that are just terrible. And I feel like he's going to be one of them that goes soon. So what did you get?
Well, ironically, I did get judgment for the heartbreak. So I got judgment for the heartbreak that he just delivered to these people. But I also got the Wheel of Fortune because destiny transition. It could be just like an opportunity. This is the saddest part, like judgment for that, but the opportunity is like somebody is offered the opportunity to hold the man accountable, but they don't take it, and that's sad. That really, really is sad. And so in that whole thing, he's found innocent and victorious over his little antics in the eyes of the ones that vote for him. That's really, really unfortunate. So I don't think he's going to be like held accountable, but I do think that they're going to start seeing his meeting about his obsession. Like Texas is going to be meeting, like people behind his back is going to start meeting about his obsession. And then they're going to have like a proposal, an offer of divorce from him. So I think that is more in the future than the country or him being like being held legally accountable for his actions. I don't think everybody, like your reading says, I don't think everybody was on board with his decisions, and he has some sort of obsession about it. So I think that his people are in his inner turn, and not that probably not enough of them, but some of them are starting to turn against him. And that may be enough of a crack to crack that watermelon open. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bust it open like, well, not even a watermelon, it's more like a coconut.
yes,
It's a
yes.
hard shell.
When you're gonna drop it from a balcony, it's gonna explode. And I definitely agree. I think he's gonna be held accountable socially,
Yeah.
maybe not legally. I don't think any charge is gonna come against him, but definitely socially. And we're seeing that already. You know, him trending on Twitter being like, Greg Abbott is despicable. But we need more than that. And
We
I'm
do.
sad to hear that he's not going to be, charged with anything.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't. It looks like they can. Yeah, it does. The obsession. That's the obsession again. It does look like he somebody is offered it, and everybody knows, just like with Matt Gaetz in Florida, if he's being trying to be convicted or held accountable in Florida, nobody in Florida is going to hold him accountable. Yes, the charges have to come up and out of Florida in order for that man to be held accountable. And same with Greg Abbott. He will never be held accountable within his state. He's got immunity according to them. But if it comes up and out of it, he might at some point be held accountable, but who knows? Somebody doesn't take that offer. All right, so all
I
right.
know it's for me, it feels just like a spider web of lies and manipulation. Like I feel like he has a lot of leverage over other people in this like dirty game. Like I feel like there's a lot, like if someone cuts one of the spider webs off, their life could collapse from what Abbott has on them. It
Yes.
feels like he has files and files, just like Trump,
That's how they
honestly.
do. It's exactly how they do. That's how they're held up by everybody else's closets and secrets. That's how they are held up. Maybe one day all of those little doors will start to fly open and nobody will have anything. Their power will be gone.
Yes, let's ring the doorbells, get the doors open, and pull the skeletons out.
Yep. Yep, I agree. All right, so now we're heading to the House of Representatives. So, as you know, through the midterms, the House of Representatives gained power by like, I think at the end of the day, I think it was either 5 or 6 or 7, something like that, total. Kind of depends on the guy from New York, what they're going to do with him. But so they're going to take control over the House. Of course, we still have the Senate by a slim margin, but we still have it. Now, Kevin McCarthy doesn't seem like he has all total votes of his caucus to become speaker. And it sounds like from rumored that Matt Gaetz is trying to prop up Jim Jordan to be speaker. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read on Kevin McCarthy if he has enough votes to become speaker. And then we're going to read on Jim Jordan see if he has enough votes. Because once all of that chaos kind of spirals out of control, I don't know exactly how it works, and somebody in the comments will be able to explain it a whole heck of a lot better than I can. But at some point in time, the Democratic minority leader will be propped up to be speaker. But let's look at Kevin McCarthy at this point and see if he is going to be Speaker of the House, if he has enough votes to be Speaker of the House at this point.
Okay.
I think the 28 that held back and said no about the children's sex trafficking bill that went through, there was only 28 of them that said no, and then 100 and something or 200 and something of them said yes from the Republican side. I have a feeling that solid 28 that's his problem. Those are his problem children.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right. So let's see if Kevin McCarthy has enough votes to become Speaker of the House.
Okay. Got it. And do we want him to become speaker? I don't know who
No,
this
we
man
don't.
is. Okay.
Well, what we would like for all of the chaos and their internal fighting, because Marge and Lauren are fighting and stuff like that, all the internal chaos, what we want for them to be so in chaos that we get our Democratic speaker in. Because if our Democratic speaker is in, then we'll start getting legislation. But if McCarthy and or Jim Jordan, we're not getting nothing but chaos. And
got it. I like reading on things that I don't really have any insight into because it gives me like a fresh, clean slate.
it does.
All I need to know is, are we a fan or are we not a fan? And I go from there. So
we're never a fan about the Republicans. But we'll see what the cards. I mean, I really wanted Greg Abbott to be held accountable, but the cards say no. And I don't always get what I want.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't have the power over spirit to wield the the outcome. I just don't have it. Nobody does.
Yes. Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got mixed cards, honestly. I actually want to ask the dowsing rods. I'm a big fan of my dowsing rods.
Yeah, go for it.
And I just broke it. Great. So let's see. So we want to know if Kevin McCarthy will be the next Speaker of the House.
Yep.
Let me do it down here. Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, that's exactly what my cards just said too.
No.
I literally got loss and defeat. And he's coming across as a Queen of Wands, some business. So that was really weird for me that he's coming across as a Queen of Wands. Like he's acting like a little bee to get what he wants. Nothing. Anyways. But that's kind of the feeling of it. I literally got lost, and I got the Nine of Wands where he has to defend his territory, and then I got the new job. So it was really weird how the last two says, courage under fire and new job, but I see defeat.
Honestly, I do too. And I think it's going to be because something comes out. The closet's going to be opened. Like I get the Fool thinking that he's safe. And then I get the Moon. Things are coming out. Hidden things are starting to emerge. The water is going back into the ocean and you see all these different little shells. And, people are going to start picking up those shells. See, I love my analogies, guys. I just love my analogies. I do think that I agree with you. I don't think he's going to become the next Speaker of the House. I got, the Hanged Man. I got Ten of Swords. I got Nine of Swords. So just like varies. I feel like something's gonna come out. He's gonna be like hiding, going back to his closet and just being like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And I don't think that he's gonna become the next Speaker of the House.
Well, ironically, way back in the day, he was having an affair with somebody else in his caucus, right? It came out, everybody's publicly known about it. And now all of a sudden, Marjorie, who we're going to read on next, Marjorie Taylor Greene now has, left the Matt Gaetz and the Lauren Boebert crazy train, and she is well under Kevin McCarthy's umbrella. So we are sitting here thinking, since Kevin McCarthy is known to have affairs, and of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting a divorce or already divorced because of her affairs with her husband. It's just gossip at this point in time, but
Yeah, I mean, if they are, good for them. I think that they're probably a match for each other. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't say this about a lot of people, but I think she's truly evil, like evil. And she's like a character from Sesame
sociopath.
Street. Sesame Street character, honestly. Like she could be like the annoying Karen that lives next door.
Yeah.
But I really do think that there's something just off, wrong with her. So what are we gonna ask about
We're
today
just
for
going to read
input?
on. We're going to do a general reading on Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point in time, see where her position is in the Republican Party, because a lot of them are now going against her. So I want to see what her position is in the Republican Party. She's left the crazy train to get underneath Kevin McCarthy. The crazy train is not with Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah,
So let's see what her position is.
got it. Oh, goodness. I'm getting just like I don't know. These cards are like honestly, they're just like scary cards. Like if I was reading for myself and I got all these cards, I would immediately seek therapy. Like these are like just like crazy cards. But what did
Go
you
for
get? Do
it.
you want to go first?
No, go for it.
Okay. So I think I think she's slowly realizing that she is crazy.
Crazy people don't know they're crazy.
I know, but I think she's like slowly and like, am I the problem? Am I the problem? But I I got the Eight of Swords, someone that is so entwined in their victim mentality. Like so many things have happened to me. Like I like this is me channeling her, but like so many things have happened to me. Like I don't deserve this. I am a strong white woman and this shouldn't be happening to me. Like I mean I am just so rich and so smart and so like incredibly hot that this shouldn't be happening to me. So I really do think that that's her mentality, but I think that she's having less people surrounding her. Like people are pulling away from her. Like she's, I don't know, like she's like contagious. Like I feel like people are pulling away from her. Like she's like contagious because crazy is contagious. It rubs off on other people. I really do think that she might not know this now, but things are going to get worse with the Eight of Cups. It's time for her to walk away. Like she's just digging a hole for herself. She's going to end up in hell if she keeps on digging. And I get the same thing in the Five of Swords reversed. Accept your loss and just leave, move on. Don't like just stop. And if she doesn't, there's gonna just be more fighting, more chaos. She wants the Republican name to be bright and shiny, but she's in the group of people that are just throwing dirt on, her party. So that's what I get for her. I don't think she's doing well, and I think that it's time for her to go.
Yeah, we all know it's time for her to go. She's not gonna go nowhere unless somebody takes her out. However, I did get the Nine of Swords in judgment. So they're judging her crazy thinking. The Republican Party has a judgment against her now, which is not normal. I mean, let me see this. So we have the gluttony. She was running the whole thing. She got everything she wanted. She was just like out there. And the Republican Party's like, look at her go, look at her go. And then, the in they're giving her money, the charity, thinking that she's not doing anything wrong. However, the emperor shows up. So the emperor is a very, very different a thought process, like self-discipline, the logic. And then I have she has lost her logic. They see her as losing her ability to understand what the whole thing is. Her constant effort and things like that, she's like very working hard at it. But in this card, if he's got a whole pile and he's just standing around, he's really not doing any work. And that's what they're seeing her now. Like, you haven't done nothing. You're out in the public eye and all that, and they're seeing how she's just standing around. She's not doing nothing. And then we have here the completion. So they're waiting for, the Republicans are waiting for the completion, at all her cards to fall down. The completion of her ideology, the completion of her insanity. They're not very nice people to deal with from the get-go. So now they know, and they're watching her spiral out of control. The 28, the ones that don't want her, and the other ones that don't want her. And so they're just sitting back there. They're just like eating their own popcorn with Marjorie now. We're watching it, they're watching it, and they're enjoying it. So I think that she is going to have a rude awakening. But let's see if she gets to be on what she wants the most is to be a committee chairperson. So let's see if she gets it.
Okay. The image I just got, like when you were speaking, was a game of Jenga where you pull the pieces out, pull the pieces out, and eventually it's gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at her Jenga game right now, she has like 8 pieces left. It's gonna fall, like
Yep.
sooner or later.
One more. They're
Yep.
going to turn on her. They're going to turn on her enough that they are going to start spouting off her secrets because they know a lot about her. And
Yeah.
so she's going to make one wrong move. I just feel it. She's going to make one wrong move with them. And then all of a sudden, they're going to turn on her. Nothing bites harder than the truth. Nothing has more sustainability than the truth.
Honestly, I don't even have to pull any cards on this question because I just feel like it's a strong no. I don't think anybody's gonna. I don't even know what this committee is, but I don't think anybody would let her on a committee unless they're like a crazy committee.
I agree. So her work, wanting to be the Ace of Wands, wanting to be in charge, wanting to be in charge. But I got the Tower, like the key, the Tower and the tear down of the Empress. So she's gonna be torn down.
Yep. Yeah.
She's gonna be torn down, and it's gonna happen with her own party. So, all right,
And that's
we
so
got
funny that you got the tower card because you were just talking about Jenga, like the tower falling.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, that is so true. All right. So we're down to our last question. Do you have any questions before we go to the last one?
I mean, I didn't come with any questions, but if there's anything I think of, I'll make sure to mention it.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Trump.
Okay.
We're gonna go in Trump. So after all the stuff from the January 6th committee, all of the findings and all of it, and then the grand jury and Jack Smith and all of that. So now we're going to go all of that, take from that side. Don't read on Trump because Trump thinks he's innocent. You could read on what they are going to do with Trump, and let's see how if they are going to indict, if they are really, really going to hold him accountable.
Got it. Got it. Let's do that.
I wish I can get a time frame. Man, I can it's almost like every 10th one I can accidentally get, but but that's just
Yeah, it really feels like the energy is blocked around the timing. I
the
think that,
findings. Yeah, timing is not what we think it is. That's why we
yeah,
haven't we the timing to us has been, it's an illusion, and we think that we're wielding the time frame days and calendars and stuff like that helps us compute our lives, but timing is irrelevant. So that's the reason why when we're in spirit world, timing is, they're like, what do you mean timing?
yeah. And I think part of that is like people that are on Trump's side really trying to stall things, really trying to stall things.
Yeah, they're not getting away with it much anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna come out sooner or later. And I really do feel like it's either I really do think everything's gonna happen in 2023.
Yeah.
And anything past that, I don't like when I read on Trump before for 2024, like I didn't get anything, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, he is not going to be running for president. We have said that from the get-go, the moment he stepped out of that thing. Between Linda, it was Linda, um, uh, Lena,
It was,
and
yeah, in
I.
Anna. Yeah.
We all just said all in unison, no, he will not be president. He will not. So,
Oh my gosh. I'm getting a lot of like summer vibes. I feel like a lot of it's going to take place in the summer of next year.
or maybe
I
it's
have a
just heating
timing.
up.
Yeah, it's just heating up. The fire's getting warm underneath, you know, Trump's Trump's cauldron. And I really do think that things are going to go down next summer. And that could be a variety of different things. Maybe he gets indicted. Maybe they are almost ready to send him away, or maybe this is when he flees the country. But let's pull some cards.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Let's pull some cards and see if they're going to be, if if they're going to hold him accountable. The future the future unveiled, the Chariot. The future unveiled the Chariot. So I got at least the Chariot. And the Chariot is really nice. Moving forward is one of the things about the Chariot, but there's another thing about the Chariot. What's in that Chariot? They have filled up their Chariot to go forward with all of the evidence against him. So we have the High Priestess with that completion, the future being un and then the Seven of Cups, which is, can you hear my grandson yelling?
Can you hear my brother yelling?
No, I
Okay.
can't.
He's playing games. He's playing, I think he's playing like Fortnite or something.
Yeah, so there are going to be some surprises. There's definitely going to be some surprises in that. I also got the Ace of Swords, which is mental clarity, truth, breaking through. I mean, we're reading to see if Trump will be indicted. So there's a lot. There's a lot. It's almost like we're going to get the happiness, the reunion, the burden of the responsibility, the juggling the demands, the Knight of Swords, the bravery, all of that is weird. Okay, what'd you get? I wish I would have gotten like a solid yes, but I didn't.
I know, honestly, I feel like Spirit is just like holding this tight to its chest because there are so many different ways it can turn. You know, throughout this whole January 6th thing, there's been a lot of yuckiness, vomit, just like just feels like we're like trying to swim through a swamp. And I mean, oh my gosh, like I keep on getting all these yucky cards. It's I do think that he's gonna get held accountable legally. Do I see him going to jail? No. Do I see him being, it's so hard. Like there's so much with the legal system. Like I'm not a lawyer or anything, but like, do I see him going to jail? I really don't see him going to jail. I feel like he's gonna escape, like pull himself out of the equation. And I feel like his karma for that is not being around much longer. Honestly, I'm being like very blunt right now. I think that if he were to be, I think if he were like to take responsibility for his actions, he would live a much, I don't know. I feel like all this secrecy is making him sick. I think that's what's going to be the cause of his demise. I really do think all this internal struggle, he's he's not gonna be doing good. And I don't even know, like there's so many things, like messages I'm getting right now, like I don't know. Like I don't I see them like trying, but it's like so slow that he evades it. Like he gets out before they have time.
We've all gotten, well, it just makes me so angry that we cannot get a solid question, a solid answer on all of this stuff. But I hear lost, done, completion. Something is literally in completion right now. It is going to be finished. And whether the justice is going to be holding him accountable, or he's going to pass before it goes, or if his body's going to give out because of all the stress, like you said, all the poison that's in his body is not going to hold up. I know, I get that. That one thing, what would he be his final revenge, to make it look like the Democrats caused Trump's death? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I really do feel like this next summer, the whole big chapter of Trump is gonna come to a close.
Yes,
And
that I know.
I really do think that after this, I don't really want to hear his name ever again. It's like Voldemort's name.
Exactly.
Like n no more energy should be spent on this man. Like if I see some, like I don't want to see any more like readings on Donald Trump after this book ends. Like let's leave that in the past. Let's move on and let's be thankful that he's gone.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have McCarthy and the Jim Jordans and the Matt Gates and all of them little, and we'll have DeSatan, so yeah, he will be. But it just kind of feels a little bit of like that, like his last final revenge for the Democrats and for the whole world is to make it look like the Democrats caused, even if he doesn't say, the Republicans, like, look what they did to him, look what they did to him, like that martyr, because it's a thing that they would fall into, because what they do to Jesus, they killed Jesus. So what happened millions of years, it feels like millions, but thousands of years later, we're still holding Jesus as a high regard because they killed him, right? And so he's thinking, if he's like the current Jesus Christ, then he would, his death would be the same result as Jesus.
That's just
It is,
craziness.
but that's how they do.
Yeah.
That's how they
Oh my
do.
gosh. Like, what if they just like start a whole religion based off Donald Trump when he's gone? Like Trumpism. Oh, disgusting. I just can't. Disgusting.
It is, but it could happen because these people are not right in the head. They
Yeah.
they have, well, they've been taught how to imagine a god. They have been taught how to imagine a Santa. They have been taught, I mean, every holiday, like an Easter bunny, Santa, all of these are just like imaginary characters that they made you believe up until you found out that it wasn't true. And then of course the tale that they tell them, well, you don't believe anymore, so now that we have to do it. I mean, they continue the lie, all the way up. They have been literally training these people to believe in an invisible man or
Yeah.
idea.
I remember when oh yeah, if there's any kids watching, there shouldn't be anyways, but like
No.
cover their ears. But I remember when I found out that like Santa and the Easter Bunny wasn't real, my heart was broken. Like, why was I lied to?
Yes.
Why was I lied to? And I really wanted to believe that, there was something magical out there, something that,
Yep.
made everybody happy. But, my heart was broken. I found my teeth in a drawer and I just cried. I just remember crying.
Well, that's the thing about it. There is magic out there. There really is magic out there, but it's not placed in a man. It's not placed in an imaginary figure. The power that they are trying to move us away from is real. That feeling that we have inside, our gut intuition, our tapping into the Akashic records, the energy of this world. They're afraid of that because that wields 10 times more power than they ever can out of the Bible's theory and story of Jesus. So there is power. It's just that they're afraid of it.
Yes. Yeah,
Very much afraid of it. So
definitely.
not that I'm saying that Jesus isn't real. Who knows? This is so many years ago. There's really, 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 really no proof this man ever lived, other than a book that was written. Zero proof. They can't even prove, that the Bible is real. So I mean, I have to be logical in that explanation too. It's a great following book. It's a great meditate, it's a great thing to read and get a little bit of comfort out of. I get that, but there's no proof that it's real. So
Yeah, I think
anyhow,
that the energy is definitely there. Like the hyper vibrational energy that most people get out of reading that stuff is definitely there. Yeah.
it might have in the beginning until they started weaponizing it. And once they
Yeah.
started weaponizing it, that was my click. That was my checkbox. You can't use this to hurt people. That like, check that box. Can't be real if you're using this to hurt people.
Hmm.
All the things that you've taught me about God and Jesus and all of that would not use his words to hurt, only to help. And then I started to go, maybe not
Yeah.
so much. Maybe
Yeah,
this
that
isn't.
was that was definitely my process too, because I really like just started to throw all these ideas and beliefs that were drilled down in me. And when I say drilled, I mean drilled into
Yeah.
me. And I realized, maybe the Bible wasn't really created to help people. I really do think like government back then really tried to control. I think it's all about control.
Very well, yeah.
And I a few years ago, I was actually a Sunday school teacher. I had my own classroom. I had like all these little kids, 3 to 5 year olds, and I had my own classroom. And I I was taught, I was told, I was actually like obligated to volunteer and do my duty.
Right.
And now looking back at that experience, I saw myself, not really like teaching them about the Bible, teaching them about God. I just saw it as an experience for me to like hang out with these little kids and just be around their energy. And looking back, I feel bad that I was involved in that, and there's nothing I can really do about it anymore because I was groomed, literally groomed to be a part of this equation.
True that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was groomed. And I also was told without a doubt that this religion is the only true one. Nobody else is right. The only true one. Nobody else is right. The only true one. I mean, this was like constantly in everybody said it in the church. Everybody said it all the time. They would get up there and talk about it. This is the true church. I know that it's a true church. I prayed about it. This is the true church. And that whole thing is like they literally have to indoctrinate you in order for you to believe it. They do not trust that you're going to believe it right off the bat. They have to drill it. It's like Chinese torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
we
I feel like Marjorie Taylor Greene when I'm saying like I was groomed to be in this type of religion,
yes.
she doesn't know how that word works, honestly. But
Yeah.
that's how I feel. Yeah.
I wonder. That's the thing is somebody on TikTok I was just watching today. They're like I said they held up the Bible and said if this Bible is true, you guys are all screwed. Because if this thing is really true, it tells you exactly what happens to you when you do all that you're doing. You
Yeah.
guys are screwed. So there's that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, honey. Well, thank you so much. If everybody has made it this far, thank you so much for listening and watching. And yeah, go follow Aiden.
Yeah.
What is your channel?
My channel name is Aiden Reads Tarot, and I'm almost at 4,000 subscribers. So I'm
Woo!
giving out a free reading once I get there. So definitely, I think everything will be in the description, and I'll have the timestamps in the comments. So you can click on them. So yeah, I really do appreciate you having me on, and all your viewers for always being so kind and nice. And remember, if you have something mean to say, just don't say it. Just don't say it. Just don't
Move
say
it
it.
along.
Yes. Yeah.
Move it
But this
along.
has been a wonderful. I loved this. Our collabs are always just like chef's kiss. I just love
Oh,
it.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you, honey. All right, my dear. Say bye.
Bye, guys.